Can't believe it's almost the end of May and Memorial Day weekend here. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. We got a very quick update, not because I'm lazy, not because I don't want to give you good stuff. The reality is there's just not a ton happening that's new or different than what we already discussed. So let's just hit the highlights of what is new this week and what you need to know. In short, rates still stink. We at least got green today, but the reality is just, again, all the stuff in the Middle East, the fact that there's no real resolution to oil and all that stuff flowing, it just creates inflation fears. And the Fed's still talking about, changing their policy and some things they might even raise rates. So at this moment, 6.6, you can see for the last, what is that, 2 weeks, we've almost had continuous days going up in rates. Today's Thursday, so it would have been Wednesday yesterday. We actually had a good day, but look, that's one day of just erasing some up, right? So it's been a whole bunch. Look at all those little purple locks. That's what we've been locking loans as they've come in. So not ideal. Don't know if there's any immediate relief. Okay, I don't believe this, but the reality is supposedly builders are more optimistic. I don't believe this. I don't know what builders they're talking to, but this is national, so maybe there's some levels some in the country, but builder sentiment is up. I say, buyer traffic, quote unquote, surged. Again, I don't see that. Future sales expectations climbed to 45. So, like, really 50, I want to say, is kind of where they feel like things are normal and good. So, yes, is it improving? Sure. But 61% still offering buyer incentives. I don't know who those other 39% are. I'd like to know them who don't need to offer incentives, but the market is just okay. It's spring and about to be summer, and things are just going okay. Not bad. We're not great. We're just okay. Housing demand still hanging on. So we're staying on this optimistic train. The reality is you can see, Texas obviously in the south. There's four regions of the country. This is National Association of Realtors. Ultimately, again, I think it's just kind of like we are where we are. The South is getting drugged down. I know it for a fact because of certain parts like Florida. Florida's hurting, and you're about to see it in the next slide. Austin's hurting. So at the end of the day, these are the housing markets where home prices are falling year over year. So 81 different markets saw prices fall year over year, and this is between April of last year and April today, 2026, or I guess last month technically. But you can see that you got Georgetown, city or Georgetown, geez, Austin. Sorry, Austin's number 4 in the country, and we've talked about this many times on here. But it's worth reminding that look, in the grand scheme of things, guys, these are the worst markets, and number 4 is down 6%. Big deal. I don't mean that the way it sounds. If you're a homeowner in Austin, I understand, and I'm not trying to hate on you, but the reality is we've gone up so much in these past years. I don't know that I'd call 6% anything just to like boo-hoo about. I mean, the reality is, yes, there's going to be some parts where it's slow. Dallas Fort Worth, what number is that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're not in the top 10, down 3% year over year. Again, I could argue that's going to be a lot of those builder incentives we talked about. There's big builders that are just, giving the farm away and taking all kinds of hits to do this just to keep inventory moving. That's fine. But overall, do I like it? Of course not. Is it going to change affordability? A touch, not enough to, I think, move the needle. So we'll see what time will bring for us. Obviously, rates are going to determine kind of where we go from here, and whether or not we stay in these high to mid sixes to be determined. So with all that, let's get to some fun. Again, I was reading this. We are today, we are a few days away from the 50th anniversary of a blind wine tasting that changed American wine. So if you guys have seen the movie Sideways, and that's what I put down there with Paul Giamatti just saying, I'm not drinking any more effing Merlot. And I know after that movie, apparently Merlot sales, well, not apparently they did. Merlot sales tanked. But 1976, May 24th, there's a blind tasting over in I think it was in France. Yeah, France and Paris. And basically, America won. USA, USA. And you can see a little chart down there as far as what it did for the American wine or Napa, really. I guess this is California wines and what it did for us. So good for us based on one blind taste vote. Good for us. Good for them. Product of the week, we've been getting a ton of questions about like HELOCs and paying off debt. And that's because credit cards are at an all-time high in America. It is what it is. We got over $1 trillion. So we've been doing a lot of this paying off of some debt with HELOCs and cash outs and things like that. So even though the rates are higher, the reality is they're a lot lower than credit cards. So been doing a lot of that. Mr. Will Smith, when buyers say they'll wait for the market to drop. So just as we covered here up above, in the previous slides, reality is, look, the market's corrected a little, right? Down 3% here in North Texas. I don't know that the market's going to quote unquote drop because this is about as, quote unquote bad as you want to get is -3%. I don't know if that's enough to move the needle. So demand's still good. Texas is still great and things are still happening. Evidence of success. Good for the team. Nobody mentioned by name. That's okay. We had a bunch of good Google reviews this week and we do a great job as always. Team. And as always, team, you know what to do. Forward, share, subscribe, watch all that stuff. Enjoy a wonderful Memorial weekend. Let's remember the reason for it. I have to grab some movie. I don't know if my kids are old enough to do Saving Private Ryan, but we always try to grab some old war movie just to have the kids just recognize why we celebrate this week. So again, thank you to all our veterans, past, present, and certainly the future. But most importantly, thank you for the men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice for this country. So God bless America. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.